Hello and welcome back to my channel, and today we're taking a look at Test Drive Unlimited, the Solar Crown. Now this is a demo of the game that is not launched yet, and things are about to get pretty wild. Now on the Steam page of this game there's no system requirements, everything is TBD or to be discussed. But when you actually use Google search to see for apparently leaked requirements for this game and what is required for you to run it, things are going from mild to wild in a span of a second. So let's have a quick look. So in regards to the leaks, the medium Full HD 60 frames gameplay requires you to have at least an RTX 2080. The high preset with 2K or 1440p at 60 frames requires you to have an RTX 4070, and for Ultra 4K 60 frames preset, the leaks essentially say you need a RTX 4090. And when it comes to the CPUs, it's exactly the same story. For a medium preset with the Full HD, they want you to have at least an i7 10700K, so a 10th generation i7. For high 2K or 4040p 60 frames, they want you to have an i5 1200 600K, which is a 12th gen CPU. And for Ultra 4K, they want you to have an i9 1400 900K, which is a 14th gen i9, essentially top of the line CPU. So honestly, I don't know, guys, maybe we need to take this with a little bit of like about, I would want to say about 20 buckets of salt. Nevertheless, we do have the demo here, and we do have an i5 96K and 4070 Ti, and we're gonna see what is actually going on with this demo. So if we go for the options and the video, we're gonna go with full screen native 4K resolution, obviously no vertical sync, refresh rate 60, and we're not going to use NVIDIA Reflex Low Latency, we're not going to use FSR, we're not going to use DLSS, there is a support for that as well. And funniest thing is, even in the demo, if you go for the frame generation, it actually says that it's incompatible with NVIDIA DLSS. Frame generation requires a 4000 series graphics card, which is kinda odd because we kinda do have 4070 Ti, so take it as you want. Nevertheless, if you look at the VRAM usage, so we are apparently, well, we will be using 13.872 megabytes of video memory, which we do not have. You know, this is the fact. 4070 Ti is a 12 gigabyte GPU, so I don't know where I'm gonna get additional 1.8 really. I guess we're just gonna be offloading off to the RAM. Outside of that, everything else is cranked to the Ultra preset, and without the presets, sharpening and motion blur is still on medium. Now I wouldn't really mind about turning off the motion blur completely, but the fact itself that on Ultra preset for configuration these settings are on medium, with anti-aliasing being FXA instead of DLA or something like that, that's a bit weird. Nevertheless, I digress. Let's start a new game and see how it goes. This game at the very beginning tells you it is recommended to have a controller, either a DualShock or anything else that is actually shaped as a controller and is not a keyboard and mouse. So we're gonna actually take this challenge up with the keyboard and mouse because, in all honesty, I'm kind of lazy to find the cable and the controller and try it that way. Also, I already adjusted the keyboard controls for back, forth and left and right. Anyway, apparently Test Drive is one of those games that everybody knows and loves, and I'm one of those persons who's never played it because I don't know how it happened. Anyway, enough chit chat, let's jump into the new game and see what we get. MSI Afterburner, right hand side, and let's just go and see what gives. Okay, and here we are in a pre-rendered cutscene, and honestly, the things are looking kind of bad for us. We're pulling 6.7 gigs of video memory, 9 gigs of RAM, almost 10, and we're at 36 frames. Now that's interesting, but yeah, let's just see how this evolves.
You won't be able to drive some of these cars until you've gained enough reputation. The organization has the means to match its ambitions. And as it happens, here are the first 3 cars available to start the competition. Take your pick. The Solar Crown would like to credit your account with your first solar coins. As for me, I must leave you for the time being, but I imagine we'll have the pleasure of speaking again. In the meantime, you can now compete against other members of the Solar Crown. Good luck!
Okay, not a big fan of being sub 60 for Test Drive Unlimited, but oh well. So what we have, first of all, we have a Mustang GT, fair enough, which doesn't exactly look too good. I guess we can just walk around. Wow, that's new. I don't think that ever been in. Right, so we have a Mustang GT, rear-wheel drive, obviously very common. So we have what? Common rare legendary cars here. Anyway, some reflections. I mean, to be fair, the car does actually look nice. You can even open door. Okay, you know what? This is not bad. Like, you can actually open things that you do not own. But yeah, the frame rate being at low 30s, I mean, wow. That's a bit weird, but nevertheless, okay, this looks good. Obviously, we have a 350Z, isn't it? Or is that 370? Which one of these? 370Z. I mean, in all honesty, let's be real here. When it comes to 350 or 370, kind of a compressed version of 350. I mean, let's... Is this really how it looks? I mean, I'm a big fan of 350, to be fair. I'm not gonna lie, but this... I don't know, it's supposed to be actually a pretty good car, apart from all the teething problems with it. And what's on the number 3? We have Alpine. What's this? Alpine A10 Legend? It will drive, very common. I don't know, this looks like Lotus Elise if you ask my opinion, which obviously nobody asks. Not fan of the back of the car. I don't know, like, if I want to be last, I want to be last in style, so it kind of boils down towards the 370 and the Mustang. Mustang's probably is pretty heavy. However, a 370 might actually be my ticket. Probably I'm gonna eat my words.
Try it out first. That's what the test drive is for.
Let's go for the test drive. See if the frames improve, because I'm not saying that not having official requirements on a Steam page means much, but so far looking at the game performance, there might be some merit to the requirement of 4090. However, the GPU VRAM usage is nowhere near the game's predicted 13 gigs. And oh wow, I mean, in all honesty, 30 frames, that is not good. Okay. How do you start this? Right, excuse me? I mean, I know I'm retarded, but... Okay. 34 frames, so we're pulling 7 gigs of video memory and 10 gigs of RAM. Oh dear lord, okay, I highly doubt you want to play this game at 30 frames. That is a little bit odd. GPU usage is actually kind of jumping up and down, 94, 98. I don't know if that's what we're looking for here. As far as I can see before the PowerPoint slideshow, there are some pretty nice reflections. Even though the trees and everything else kind of looks a little bit generic, but you know, I'm not gonna nitpick here. And I guess we run out of the test drive time. Yeah, I don't know, the performance is surprisingly pretty low. And I wouldn't want to say that the CPU is maxed out, so I guess we're just gonna buy this one and let's go with something very annoying, like let's say a white 370. And only one choice of rims. Okay, you know what? It will have to do it for us. Yes. Okay, that's all fine. Let's see what the future brings for us. How about them apples, eh?
Congratulations. Have fun with your brand new car.
Wait, there was a GTR right behind me. They just lowballed me on this offer. They just lowballed me. They had a GTR and I picked a Nissan. Okay, you know what? Technically still a Nissan, but damn. That feeling when you walk out of the dealership and you notice the car you should be having.
Very first car. This is when you fully enter the tournament.
You can now take part in the first races of the Solo Crown. Your car is already eligible for the races. All you need to do is go to the starting locations.
Thank you, Alyssa. All the races are grouped together around meeting points, which makes it easier for you to meet other participants. Do well in these races to start making a name for yourself.
I have updated my firmware. I have also connected you to my other users, if that's of interest to you. They have just finished the selection process. You can finally meet them.
Okay. I guess we're going straight there. Now, since driving games are no fun in 30 frames, I would want to say we need to beg for some help from DLSS, because I'm gonna be real with you guys, 35 frames is not enough for this game, like no matter what you tell me. How do we enable that? DLSS on quality is giving us 35 frames.
I have updated.
That's not good. I would want to say the frame generation would probably be a better choice for us at this point, but it is clearly not doing it. So let's go with balanced.
Your access rights to the onboard equipment. You can now turn on your lights, lower your windows, and choose a radio station. In 400 meters, turn right.
Yeah, something is not exactly clicking here. If we're on DLSS balanced and we're still getting 35 frames, something is not DLSSing here. Let's go with ultra performance. Now this should downscale us from full HD all the way, well, from 4K to Full HD or even below. And technically we should increase the sharpness to about 40-ish. And the GPU usage has gone down significantly, but the frames did not go up. Also, you can see the weird flicker on the tail lights and in the rest of the world, because the downscale clearly has taken place, but the frames did not improve at all. Which I guess is, I would want to say, teething problems for a demo. But this is a little bit odd. So how about we just go with everything off, since there's no option to apply the settings. And we're just gonna go straight to 2K resolution, because honestly 30 frames, that's a little bit too wild, you know what I mean? Like, that's... I see. So even in 2K, GPU usage is 48%, and it is 4070 Ti, and we're still at 32 frames, and CPU usage has gone up on Core 2 significantly and Core 6. And we're still within 30 frames. Okay, so technically the resolution and the DLSS is not changing a single thing, so I think we don't have to worry about that. We can just enjoy the game natively and just forget about it. It's a little bit odd, not gonna lie, but you know, at end of the day, if it is how it is, then it is how it is. You know, let's just enjoy it as it is.
200 meters, turn right. Turn right, then turn left.
Oh wow.
In 200 meters, turn right. Turn right, then turn left.
You know, guys, if you want additional challenge, definitely play this game on 30 frames.
Turn right, then turn left. Turn left.
Okay, scratch that. 25 frames. Oh dear lord. This is not going well. This is,
Turn left.
is this how Test Drive Unlimited was running before? I'm pretty sure it's never came... I don't think this game was on PC. I think it was a PlayStation 2 title or something, if memory serves me right, but... 28 frames, GPU usage 90%, CPU is doing nothing, 7.9 gigs of video memory taken, 10 gigs of RAM. I don't think this game is taking full advantage of our hardware here. I would expect at least 50 frames. With some dips and stutters, but the funny thing is, nothing is dipping, nothing is stuttering. And we just got the level up as well.
Reputation. Congratulations. Your reputation is extremely important in the Solar Crown. It's what makes you a legend. The more you take part in events around the island, the more attention you'll receive. And with more reputation, you'll gain access to races and cars that are only available to a select few.
I've marked your next race. You can open your map to check its location.
Okay, even the open map is giving us 52 frames. I don't know, guys. This is kinda wild here. You know, I'm not gonna lie. I'm used to seeing games being hard to run due to CPU and stuff, but damn, this is This is a little bit out of my budget here. I have no explanation what's going on here. Shopping in one chai circuit. Okay, so we do have some races here. Let's zoom in. See if we have a sprint race or something of the sort. Leisurely stroll, time attack. You know what? I think we can get to this one. Let's see if maybe the game kickstarts itself after accepting the race. Yeah, 24 frames is not good enough. You know, it is not. Stay in control, top speed. Reputation level 20 required to do any modifications, so we're driving stock. You know what? Fine, let's do that. I'm gonna shut up and concentrate at a race running sub 30ish possibly, so you might excuse me not talking for a little while anyhow. So yeah, let's see how this goes. Okay, I need to be real with you guys here. Driving at 25 frames is physically impossible. And I'm literally talking from experience. When I first played Need for Speed Most Wanted Black Edition on a Pentium 4, 3 GHz with 256 gigabytes of DDR RAM. DDR, it didn't even have numbers back in the day. Okay? It was more playable than this. I think this might be the first time in history when I can say this is not playable at all. And the biggest concern for myself is literally that even reducing the resolution of the game, it still runs at the same frame rate as it ran on 4K, and exactly the same frame rate when it ran with the DLSS enabled. So either this demo is essentially pushed out to showcase that, you know, this the game is out and it's available and you can play it, or we are completely out of our depth. I don't think that 2 gigs of video memory being a little bit overboard would be such a nuisance, because we do have 32 gigs of RAM to offload any texture requirements that games usually do if you run out of GPU memory. That's what the hot swappable RAM is for. I think the only thing we can do is quite literally dial it down to medium and see what happens. And we're gained 5 frames. I don't know. You guys, you tell me. Like, am I doing something wrong? Am I not accepting certain parameters here? Because this should not happen. Let's be real. This should not happen. You can see that if I change NVIDIA DLSS from off, the background changes. If I change it to balanced or quality, it changes. So certain downscaling and upscaling features are definitely working, but somehow it does not translate in more frames, which for myself would be pretty much basis of saying this is broken a bit. Okay, let's turn off Ignite. Motion blur, let's turn it off. Depth of field can go as well. We're essentially running medium now. And it's it's still below 60 frames. GPU usage has actually gone down to 60% at this point almost. The GPU is actually barely under any load. As you can see, the temperature indicates 55 degrees. So we're not using the tensor cores, we're not using the rendering. We're still pulling 7 gigs of video memory and we're still pulling 10 gigs of RAM. And we're at 38 frames. I would want to say that I absolutely know. I don't want to bash the Test Drive Unlimited crew giving us this demo. This is a very good showcase of that the test drive is back to a certain extent. It is a demo. The game is nowhere to be released officially. Obviously, even on the Steam page from the devs who put in the comments, there's no requirements for the systems. So I wouldn't be surprised that they're still going through the loops and hoops of trying to figure out what is exactly required for the game to run on all the optimization. But at the current state, and based information from the leaks, which might be a wish list, let's take it with a bucket of salt, I think this thing just needs time. Like, honestly, because let's be real, we're running 4K, DLSS balanced, quality on medium, and it's essentially the same frame rate we're getting with 4K native everything on Epic. Like that, and that was without DLSS. So technically I would want to say if there's no difference between native and DLSS on medium, we have a problem. There's some things are not clicking. And as I said, I'm not gonna bash the devs. I'm not gonna bash whoever remastered this title or made a new game based on a test drive. Never played it. I don't know how it runs. Maybe this is how it ran back in the day. I have no idea. But I don't think this is an honest review of the game's performance, because I'm not a smart man, but I can see when something's broken. And this thing is broken as hell. So, I'm gonna leave you with this thought. And let's see if we get any more patches. Maybe this particular demo will get an improvement or a technical upgrade for it, because yeah, we should be getting more than this. I'm not expecting, and this is the thing, I'm not expecting above 60 frames with 4070 Ti and i5 96K. I'm not, honestly, like, let's be real here, I'm not expecting that, but I expect more than 30 frames, okay? And even though this is just a regular racing game, come on, even Dirt Rally, even Richard Burns Rally, even any of the Need for Speed Undergrounds, the new Most Wanteds, literally anything else that requires driving is running on this system at 60 plus frames in 4K. Don't tell me that this game actually requires a latest gen i9 14th gen CPU and a 4090 to run at 4K, because honestly I appreciate Mad Lads when I see them, but come on guys, like, let's get a grip. I'm just making a joke here. I mean, I don't think those are actual requirements for the game, but man, at the time it's running now and how it runs, this is I have no words. Like, I'm just gonna be real, guys. I have no words. I've never seen game running like this. I'm in a long time. I mean, I've seen games running bad. I've seen games running below my expectations, and my expectations are pretty low. Like, don't get me wrong. My expectations of games running decently on my rig has diminished over the years, but sub 30 on 4K native or 38 frames on 4K DLSS on performance and medium settings. I don't know that if 8 frames is making such a huge difference. Outside of that, I do have to say that the game in general does kind of look promising, and this is coming from someone who's never played Test Drive Unlimited, but come on guys, like, this is a tech demo. It should be running a little bit better than this. It should be running to the point where you wanna spend your money to buy and pre-order this game, because the digital deluxe version for this game is actually coming out at £69, which is about $75 to $80 with a lot of DLCs and whatnot included. This is not making me want to put my money down for this. Like, at no point this is making me to say yes, this is the game I want, considering that even in 2K we were getting exactly the same numbers. So yeah, I don't know. You know what? Enough chit chat. I've wasted enough of all of your time just now. Let's just see how it goes and how it feels, and we'll go from there. But outside of that, I hope you enjoyed this and you learned something new. So that's all I have for you guys today. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Over and out.